Alright, so I've been messing around with the Toyota FJ Cruiser that I have, and I'm trying to get a better option here for an ESC, tires, all kinds of stuff here. So I've been messing around with it, trying a couple different things here. Let me show you what I failed on first. So let me get you turned around here. I'll show you what I failed on. Okay, so here's my 3D print fails. There's 4 of them there. I probably went through another 6 or 8 of them before I settled on an actual skid plate, and you'll notice some of these have different sizes. Some of them have a kick out, some of them don't. Some of them busted over there. You know, some of them got fuzzy skin, some of them does not. I think all these have fuzzy skin on them. Fuzzy skin just kind of makes the outside look kind of like that. You know, it kind of hides blemishes, things like that. What I settled on was just a normal looking one. Kind of get to the bottom here where you can see it a little bit better. Basically what you need, they may make one or whatever. I wasn't able to find one besides RC 4-wheel drive, which I'm not really a fan of buying a lot of their stuff. It's overpriced, and usually hole locations and things like that are just not where they need to be. So I printed my own. I found a file on Thingiverse, and I just kind of tailored it up through Tinkercad and made it something that would make sense for me. This may not work long term, it may just be temporary, I don't know, but for testing purposes right now, this will be just fine. So basically it allows you to mount a SCX24 transmission in the 18 scale FJ Cruiser. Now the reason I did that is I have this cool little ESC package that I got here. This thing was like, I don't know, $40 for the whole thing. It comes with a motor, which is a brushless motor, 2400 kV I believe. Let me see. Yeah, 2400 kV. Kind of show you there. It comes with the ESC as well, which is this guy right here. It's very much like an Endura, and it goes 2S lipo, nothing any higher than that, which is totally fine for what I need here. Inside here comes with a nice little sheet that shows you programming and stuff. There's quite a few options in there, so I'll get that out and show it to you here in just a minute. But I just kind of wanted to show you, anybody that's watched my older video on this guy here, I wasn't exactly the happiest with its performance. When I first got it, I thought it was cool, this and that, whatever, but you know, I didn't know a lot about crawling. But now look at it. I mean, just look at the outrunner turn. Nice, smooth, low control. That's, you know, going in reverse. So let's go forward. Try to go as slow as I possibly can. There you go. And you can just see it creeping along. That right there is exactly what I wanted. Obviously it has more speed than that. I don't want to run it off the desk here, but you know, it's pretty fast. Being 2400 kV, you know, it's going to go pretty decent. So I flip this guy off here, turn my remote off. I'm using the R-Star or Hour Star or whatever remote. I like to use this on my mini crawlers. I've got a nice thumb steer set up here. It makes it really easy when I got to film. Also when I'm just trying to get low and see what's going on with the truck, you know, it makes it a lot easier having that whole other hand free. So to do that, you need a receiver, you know, which is standard, you know, 2.4 gigahertz receiver. The only thing that I don't like with this setup that I have here now is all these wires are going to be messy, and I mean, I can put them on the rails and stuff like that, but it's a lot of tidying up. Okay, I don't like that part. Another part that I don't like is this part right here. This will not fit any longer without chopping. Now, if I want to use this, I'll have to chop out something. Maybe I'll just take out the front seats or something. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet because there's a lot of material there I have to take out. In order to get the body to fit, you need at least this front portion and this back portion, which is kind of going to defeat the purpose for me because I want to use my body. That's kind of the whole point of buying this thing there. I love the body, and I did go with some Mickey Thompson Baja tires. So I really like those. I still like the rims that it came on, so I'm using those rims. But yeah, I got to try to figure out something here for the body because I want to use the body. FMS is on this model, they kind of got you because they have separate mounting holes for the interior part and then separate mounting holes for the rest of it. But if you look, there's different things that can come off of there. There's different screw points. I think it's just for certain pieces in here. I have to dig in a little bit further and find out. I'm hoping maybe I can just rip some of that out without actually tearing it out, and then maybe do a little bit of cutting and throw those back on. Figure out how I want to do this. I still want to be able to use the hood to store my battery and or ESC or whatever I want to put in there, obviously. But I still want to be able to use that, and I can't never get this thing open. So I still want to be able to use that. That's kind of the whole point. So I need at least this first portion here. Most likely, if I have to do any cutting, I would either cut out like maybe this whole first row, or maybe I'll just cut out the whole seating thing altogether, leaving the dash, and just make that a hole right there to where I got the nice fender flares and everything else that goes with it. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to see where the screws lie first and kind of go from there. So let's check that part out, see what we get with that, and then we'll kind of try to make a decision here. Okay, so first success here, we was able to take out the seats. Those are only held in by 2 screws at the bottom, one here and one here. Now to make the ESC and stuff and the motor and everything that I got fit in here, I'm going to have to cut basically all the way down to here. I can basically leave this whole rail in, cut all the way down there, go underneath the steering wheel, cut that whole center portion out, all the way over here to the side, do the same thing right before the screw, all the way down, just basically make a big square. And that'll take out all this material here in the center, and that'll give me enough room to poke this out. So this is what I'm looking at. Alright, so that's what our biggest problem is going to be, and that's about how much we need to take out. So I'm thinking if we take the whole center out, the motor would basically come up to where the steering wheel is. So we can either leave that in or try to fit the seats back in there afterwards. Kind of get that out first, and then just see what it looks like and where it lands from there, and kind of just play it by ear, really. So I think that's what I'm going to do now. Try to see if I can make all that stuff fit, and the less material the better, obviously. So looking at this, basically I just need to take this big center hump out right here. So I'm going to start with that, see if I can save the rest of it. I may be able to, I may not, but it's just something that we're going to have to trial and error here. So that's what we're going to do now. Just take out the big hump here, kind of take it down to the bottom, and see if that'll give me enough clearance. Alright, so I pretty much have it finished here, guys. I had to do a lot of chopping, as you could see. Got my ESC just kind of mounted right here. So I'm going to plug it in and let you see what it's doing. Okay, so I got it all plugged in. There we go. Sometimes it takes a minute for the ESC to kind of bind with the controller. I don't know why it does that. But let me show you what it's doing here. I'm going to kind of turn it over so you can hear what it's doing. Then I'll show you what I found. Okay, so what it's doing, it's not binding on any of the chassis stuff here. I've noticed that these 3D printed parts, they're starting to fail. And that's just the downside of, having a 3D printed part on a high stress area. This is really thin material. I don't really have enough room there to actually make something bigger for it to fit. So I really need something kind of metal. This one's okay because I was able to bring it out, but you're not able to do that on every little piece. So, it is what it is, but I'm going to go ahead and order the RC four-wheel drive one that I didn't want to order, just so I can go ahead and fit it up, because I really am starting to like this setup. Now, I will not have lights on this as of right now, because they have those little mini P2 whatever adapters. So until I figure that part out, it's not going to be lights on for me, but this should make this perform quite a bit better. So once I get those pieces in, I will finish this up, and then we'll take it out and see how it does. So yeah, this is actually kind of fun, and it's difficult to upgrade this model though, because they don't have a lot of parts for this. I don't know if that's on purpose or what, but yeah, they don't have a lot of upgrades for this. Now I could tear everything out and put FMS, like FCX24 or whatever they call that. I could put those parts in there, but then it's basically just another model. So I was trying to find things to make it work with what you currently had. So I think I found a pretty decent alternative, and I'm still able to use most of the interior. I'll just throw this body on here real quick, just so you can see everything's going to work out. You're still going to see like the lines and stuff in there, but you got some interior to look at. So it should work out pretty well. I did have to cut my battery box back a little bit to make room for the motor. A couple different things that I didn't want to do, but you got to make room somewhere. So that's kind of what I had to do. So I'm going to order that part and wait for it to come in. And as soon as it does, we'll make another video, get it slapped on there, and get it out and check it out. So appreciate you guys following me on this one here. And I got a lot of plans for this if everything holds together and works the way that I think it will. So just stay tuned.